Welcome to the Rosalie Elliott Show. I have something special for you. Let's check out a snippet of the interview and documentary of Seal's most popular, biggest hit. Why did Seal's hit song, do you know which one we're talking about, go as viral and blow up as much as it did? Who is Seal? What's the story behind it? I want to check out this documentary with you for just a little bit. Not the whole thing. The whole thing is over 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes long. Watch it on your own time. You can find it on the Vertex Effects YouTube channel. But enjoy this with me for a moment.
Da 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 da.
You guys know that one? Kissed by a Rose.
Da 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 da. There used to be a Granian tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remains a drug that's high, not the pill. Did you know when it snowed, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen? Baby, I compare you to a kiss on the rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah.
Ooh.
Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave.
I never listened to how deep these lyrics are. Wow. Okay. Wow. There's an analysis right there. Ooh.
Da 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 da. There is so much a man can tell you, so much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain, baby. To me, you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny.
Ooh.
Won't you tell me, is that healthy, baby? Did you know when it snowed, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen? Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on a grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom,
Wow.
a light hits the gloom on the grave. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Been kissed by a rose on a grave. I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. And if I should fall, will it all go away? I've been kissed by a rose. Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on a grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah.
Now that your rose is in bloom.
A light hits the gloom on the grave. Yes, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on a grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, listen. I loved this rendition. Couple of things before we listen to a little bit more of the actual story. I always thought that it was the rose on a grave. And I never really listened to the lyrics fully. This song is deep. Okay, real quick. I love the airiness of his voice. I love how there were times where at times when he was opening his mouth wide and just tapping into the full range. Other times kind of more restricted and into that airiness and a subtle little grit towards the end, that vibrato. Absolutely beautiful. There's something very unique about his voice. You can just recognize it as soon as you hear that seal. But also this song, even the hook, that riff, the chord progression, and that lyricless vocalization. You know, the second we hear that, we're like, oh, that's seal, kissed by a rose. But then again, I thought it was on the grave. Graying tower alone on the sea makes me think of a lighthouse somewhere in the distance. But suddenly it says, you became the light on the dark side of me. And now, again, makes me think of a lighthouse, the lighthouse that lights up when you can't see, when it's foggy and gray and gloomy. But to say the dark side of me made me think of the Beauty and the Beast, made me think of someone who has a shadow side, a dark side, struggles with things, as we all do to more or lesser degree. And to say this person is now lighting up the dark side of me, the things that were hard about me, difficult or dark about me. Love remained a drug. That's the high and not the pill. Interesting. There, and also later it speaks of addiction, making me think, okay, this love for this person, this light that they became like the drug. And that was the high, the love that they gave, not the pill. So perhaps this person, and maybe this was the dark side, had this desire for some type of high, maybe leaned towards pills or whatnot. And this love became the high now instead. But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen? And that's what's interesting. When it snows, is this another drug reference? Are we talking cocaine here? Are we talking my eyes become large? Because that's literally what our eyes are doing when we're on drugs, right? They're dilating. Is this saying the light you shine can't be seen, as in I can't see your love, I can't see the light you give me because I'm high, because I'm intoxicated. And there's this brutally poetic dichotomy of, and this is my interpretation, guys. I'm about to see what he says. At first, on superficial level, I thought this is some type of love relationship, but perhaps this rose is like a kiss on the grave. It's actually toxic. It's actually harmful. This relationship is not good. We find that in life. We think someone is wonderful for us and we glorify them. We think they're so good for us, or they light up our life. And it turns out actually that their kiss is poisonous, or it causes our death. Again, I thought it was grave, but it is gray. Okay. Now, as I'm reading the lyrics, I'm realizing more and more, this is so deep. Is this someone who has a dark side, struggling perhaps with the pill, with snow, with an addiction? And when this person is partaking in that type of high, they can't see the light and the love of their beloved. They can't see it. Ironically, again, hear that paradox dichotomy, because their eyes are enlarged. Their eyes are enlarged by the drugs, where you would think you can see more clearly when your eyes are widened. You see that light less because you're high, because you're intoxicated. This is the type of dilemma you find with a lot of addiction. This is not just drug addiction. This could be porn addiction. This could be addiction to our phones. Our eyes are widened for that dopamine fix and the adrenaline and the oxytocin and whatever we're releasing in these pleasurable reward experiences. Our eyes are widened. You would think we're awake and we are alert to life. But we are actually not able to see the true light, the light of our loved ones, the light of true intimacy in relationship. And this, again, goes for all kinds of addictions. Wherein there's addiction to porn, you miss out on intimacy and seeing the light of your wife or husband and truly connecting. This goes for friendships. When we're always on our phone, we're addicted, our eyes are widened. This goes for substance abuse. Our eyes are widened, they're dilated, everything's intensified, and yet we're missing the true light. My interpretation. I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the gray. And now what does this mean? A kiss from a rose sounds something so beautifully loving and romantic. But to be kissed on the gray, a rose that kisses the gray, what does this mean? The beautiful, vibrant, dark red rose that now turns the gray into color, that now illuminates and colors the picture. Something that is gray turning into something colorful and bright. The more I get of you, the stranger it feels. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the gray. So masterfully written. It paints to me this picture of coloring where you have a black and white, gray image and the rose touches it and it blooms. And this person he's speaking to, now that your rose is in bloom, what does that mean? Is that this other person basically saying, this person saying to their beloved, while you're at your best, when you're blooming, you're at the peak of life, when your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the gray. It's changing the gray in my life, again, because it lights up my dark. Or is this speaking of the same person, not necessarily another love interest or friend or beloved, but the same person in their two different states? The one whose eyes are large and who can't see light because they're in their high of pills and snow. I'm taking that again as a possible reference to the drug. Or the version of oneself that is in bloom, the version of oneself that is healthy and recovering, where now the gray turns to light. There is so much a man can tell you, so much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain. Again, is this personifying the addiction, the drug, which gives you power, pleasure, but also causes pain? Or is this truly another person in their life who has a similar effect? Beloved people in their life can be that. They have power over us. They may give us pleasure, but they may also cause us pain. You're like a growing addiction I can't deny. Is that healthy? When it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen.
When you are compelled to do music because it's just something that has to come through you rather than you are doing it in a Machiavellian sense. I A Kiss from a Rose was the fourth single from the second album to be released, and I remember it went into the charts at number 65, dropped to number 80 the next week, and that was the last of it.
What were the other singles, like Bring It On or
Newborn Friend, Pray for the Dying, and possibly Bring It On, right? And people heard when they were leaving the theater was Baby, and so it got, and also Joel made a video.
Right, and you're by the kind of the bat signal.
Yeah, by the bat signal. So and he made it. Actually, I've got to tell a little bit about the original video was made by a guy called Matthew Rolston, right? And it was terrible. It's a shocking video. It was kind of a pastiche of, God, it was like, it was a pastiche of David Hemmings in Blow Up, and I was this kind of sexy 60s studio photographer, quite different from anything else I've written. So da 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 da, that would be like a string line or
cello
or cello, and then I've been kissed by a rose. One that would be kind of like, I guess, something that a flute would play, and and so it was me trying to impersonate an orchestra. I couldn't tell you what the heck I was singing. Well, I kind of could tell you what I was singing about at the time, but it was me trying to impersonate an orchestra, and I made my first 4-track demo. Which was Kiss from a Rose. And I didn't really think of it as, a seminal song or something that I would be known for or most known for in the future, because it really kind of started off as a experiment. And I think there's a huge lesson in that, because when you're making music in a very free-flowing state where you're not trying to write a hit or trying to write a great song or trying to do any of those things, you somehow kind of you do without doing, and you have this almost like subconscious approach to writing, and so that's how it started. And then a friend of mine had heard it, and he obviously thought more of it than I did. And when I eventually ended up signing a record deal with ZTT Records and Trevor Horn, who, my producer, he asked me about this song. Like my friend who's sadly no longer with us, Paul, he told Trevor about this song, this Rose song that Seal had written.
The beauty with amazing music is that we get to interpret it in different ways and get to experience what it means to us. What is your experience with this song? What does it mean to you? What do you think Seal meant? How has it impacted you over the years? Subscribe, comment, and let me know. I'll see you on the next ride. Ayo!